Good evening, welcome.
Lords of the Dance, Xpert TV.
We are back. It's been, how long has it been since we've done the last panel?
It's been quite a while.
Probably like, 6-7 months, maybe even a little bit longer.
Maybe, I couldn't even tell you.
An embarrassing amount of time, basically.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, and there's just been no excuse really, other than actual excuses like me not being in the country and other people not taking up the mantle, which is fine because it's not expected. But it's good news because we're back and we're going to be. What are we doing? Talk to us. What are we doing today?
Well, it depends who you're expecting to be picking up the mantle.
I don't
know the way you looked at me when you.
No, because you're the only one in the room. I wouldn't look at the wall. But other people could have done it. Felt free. I know Graham's got a channel. He could have done it. For God's sake, let's not get tied down with who picks who, eh?
Right.
Well, no, come on, draw us back. What are we looking at today? What are we running through?
We're supposed to look at the fucking league, aren't we?
We get kind of like a feel for the season thus far. We're 13 games in. There's a clear leadership and hierarchy in the top three, and then it kind of there's like a trickle down effect that I'm sure we all wanted to have a little look at. And then talking about how we kind of fit into all this, our team, and what kind of seasons we're having, and how that relates to the league as a whole. Maybe look at a couple of MVPs in there. Maybe a couple of players that we should be focusing on, and maybe suggesting man marking for future games. Whatever, take the tactical strategy you want, and then kind of maybe forecasting a little bit, like going into the future. What can we draw from that?
That sounds good.
So. Look, think about all that. What do you feel like the season's come to 13 games in?
What, as in for me individually or for the league?
I think as a whole, like the league as a whole. How do you think the mood is? What's everyone going through?
Well, I think the league's obviously very even this year, or this season. There are a couple of weaker teams who, to be fair, are at the bottom, but the gap isn't really that large in terms of quality and standard of all the teams, and I think that's reflected in the league. I think
just the diversity of the teams' placements, and I mean some quite interesting results from very, like you say, some of these kind of lower teams that have been forecast and not do so well.
Yeah, well, I think if you look at sort of the gap, obviously from I think 3rd to 9th, 6 points, isn't it? And that seems very tight, but at the same time, if you look at the difference between the Happy Feet and the Burka, it is negligible. It isn't that much, and all the teams in between, I think, are about the same, really.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I think it's good for the league as a whole, really, that it's just competitive. Obviously, Graham's kind of doing his own thing, and Norman is putting up a fight, but I think ultimately it should be Graham's again. But I think the league as a whole, the standards getting better. I'm definitely feeling that for my team this season. We're not the strongest team anymore, and a lot of the other teams, I think as well. The teams that were sort of a few seasons ago a bit weaker, their players are now 23, 24, 25, hitting their primes, putting in big ratings, and I think you see for myself, you to an extent as well, and maybe Pete. Some of our players that were always the ones that
just played it week in, week out,
always
putting out performances.
They're now 34, 35, 36, and
probably a skill lower and just not.
And at that point, you're not putting out 5 or 6 above your skill anymore. You're playing your skill maybe 1 or 2 better, and I'm finding that with my team, and I think you're seeing that. That kind of balance shift really in the league this year. I think the next season, Ben's team's only going to be better. Harsh's team's only going to be better. I think Simon's team's only going to be better. So I think actually, I think it will be. You'll kind of be looking at those guys. Still, Norman and Graham will be in the mix, but I think those guys will be the ones at the top, and then I think everyone else will be slipping a bit further down. So. Yeah, it's not looking great for us, if I'm honest, mate.
I couldn't disagree, to be honest. I mean, and you also have to think about where this, there's definitely a sincere change in strength in a lot of teams, and generally that's affected the average of strength teams that you need to have now. And you're right, certain teams are going through like a debunk of their senior players, and due to their age, and without effective transfers or bringing in effective use at the right time, that can be, you know, as you can see, yeah, we're in dire straits.
I mean, the thing I would say at the same time, despite me saying all that, you look at Graham, he's, you know, gone through the same thing as everyone else, and I think he's done it just better than we have, really, because I think, you know, he's brought in players that's kind of bridged that gap between his youth and the guys on the way out, and it's allowed him to kind of maintain that kind of level of play. I mean, his team's probably playing as good as any team in terms of just output as any team's ever played.
It's strange because you get yings and yangs in these seasons about who's doing well and who's got great form and who's managing it, and sometimes they can throw a little curveball into the mix. But generally, there's a consistent set of teams who do well, and Graham's obviously a standout one of those, you know, 2, 3, 4 teams. And so, you know, it stands to reason that he breaks the mould a little bit in terms of just success in the game, and also this season in particular managing to, like you say, bridge that gap in his age, and it's very effectively create assembly line. It's very kudos to the man.
Yeah, I mean he's faced the same problems we've all had, and look where he is in the league. Look where we are. So.
I mean, and you then draw that back to a switch around. Look at the bottom of the league. We've got Larry. Okay, so he's lost 8 games. He's won 3, drawn 2. Granted, he's got 11 points. There's only 3 behind out of relegation spot, 1 behind 10th. But bearing in mind that this is the best he's done thus far in the season. Like, he started out with 6? He lost 6 in a row or something like that.
He obviously drew against me, but yeah, he didn't start out. He was like 1 point for his first 8 games or something like that.
Yeah. So after the second game, he was last, and he was last until round 12. So 10 straight rounds basically, or 11 as you can see it. That's, you know, that's going to have an impact, and now he's feeling it. He's just got the double over the Burka, which is not a hard feat these days. It seems.
Oh come on, mate! You can't just brush that off like that was nothing. You know what I mean? You like, if he escapes the season, you really were a massive part of that. You have to accept that.
Obviously, yeah, I do. But, you know, I draw that back to the reason of age. I just haven't. I have to bring in some players at the end of the season who are gonna, if I don't get relegated this season, might do next season for the good of the team. Like, I just might have to do a bit of a revamp.
I mean, you're going to have to do something. I mean, are you going to talk about the 4-2-4?
What, the game against Larry? I thought it was quite ingenious, to be honest. I did. It was quite out there, and we lost 1-0.
At home.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is why we didn't get a chance, alright?
I mean, that is pretty mental.
4-2-4, very offensive.
So, yeah, to not create a chance is quite... I mean, he did tighten your...
He tightened my 3 plays.
Yeah, that is pretty well. But
he man-marked one of my forwards, but there's 3 other forwards there. One of them's a 14 skill, alright? My offence played, what was that, a 14 on average? 13. And I didn't get a chance. And he got 5. Larry's team got 5 chances, and he put fucking 1 of them away, and he nailed the fucking coffin.
Of course he did. Well, I mean, I still think a 4-3-3 might have been more sensible, but...
Well, either way, like,
it is what it is.
Either way, that just synonymises my season, basically, just heartbreak. So yeah, I'm on an upwards battle here.
Well, so what do you think is going to happen?
What, in terms of how the league progresses, what fixtures are left?
Yeah, I mean, we've got obviously 7 games left, so probably about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through now. So,
Well, me personally, or what do I think will happen to the league?
Well, both.
I think I'm not going to do... I mean, obviously I'm going to try and fight relegation. I don't want to lose, and I'm still in a good position. I've got a couple of tough fixtures coming up though. I've got to play. I play Norman next. I've got Ben, Simon, away to Steve, and at home to Ed. I think I've got Ed after to Norman. So there's a chance at least to actually have a good chance to step away from the relegation fight a little bit. We'll have to see. I'm not willing to put all my eggs in one basket just yet. Particularly as my form is diabolical, and fucking Graham injured Andre Felter for like a week. One of my key... He's the oldest of my youth at 21. Like, my next player is like 28 in defence. He's critical for average age. It's mental. But anyway, I'm doing that. That's me. That's what I'm doing. As a whole, like, I don't see Graham losing it, to be honest. He seems to have just enough form to play, and timing to play the worst of teams, or just less form. gets some good wins, and I can only say that to a small degree because obviously he's won 9 games, which is very impressive. What's more impressive is that he's only conceded 4.
I think that
in 13 games.
I think that's very telling, and again, that's part of why he's winning. When you're not conceding goals, it's a big thing. And again, that's one thing that I was kind of proud of my teams on a little bit, and pretty average this season, and we haven't been able to score either, which is why, again, we're kind of sitting where we are. I mean, I think we're probably going to finish mid-table, to be honest. I'd like to say that we build come and finish strong, maybe crack the top 4, but
I'll go out on a limb and say Graham will win it. Norman will come second, and then I think Dix will overtake Ben in the next few fixtures, and Dix will come third. And Ben will just we have a great season. Just miss out on some prize money, but his team's going to be naughty next season. And if he does some good, he's got some good manoeuvres to make as well.
I think a 4th place finish would be good for Ben. But I mean, I still think third is his to lose at the moment.
I don't see you coming 5th, and then maybe Pete popping up to 6th. 1,000 Suns dropping a few positions. His team's going to peter out. His form can't just.
I mean, again, I'd like to think I should be able to get something from the next game, but I tend to struggle. I'm struggling against everyone at the moment, but I think I agree with you. I think it's going to kind of finish. You pointed out. I think the middle it really could go any which way, but the real question is who's going down, and how many teams are going to be involved in that scrap.
Well, I kind of envisage me and Steve will have a little battle again for, like, in that range. Like, I reckon if I played Norman next, but Ed, I believe, has his gap. No, he doesn't. Plays Graham. Okay, so if he doesn't lose or draw, like, I'll be annoyed. Like, if he wins, then it's going to put pressure on. But he's not.
He's playing Graham away. He's not going to win, is he?
Well, I don't know. It's Xpert, man. You just don't know these days. Plus, either way, I just don't want him to win. So Graham's got my backing in this one very few selection.
What's going to happen between Pete and Larry next one?
Again, I hope Pete wins, but a draw would be great. A draw would be good for me. And Larry's at home, and Pete's got... What's Pete's away form looking like? Not brilliant. He lost 4 away. But he's beaten Larry at home and Ed. He did the double over, so he can do all right. So yeah, it won't. I don't think there'll be a gap that extends for at least maybe 3 or 4 games. But I'm definitely going to be in the mix for that.
How the mighty have fallen there.
What are you talking about?
Petrelli languishing on
he's not a fucking squire though, is he? So
I know.
Biddle's
got it worse.
Right, that poor boy. That poor boy. There is one thing I wanted to look at as well. Is a couple of some player stats.
Go on then.
I wanted to see how we're looking for this season and how that impacts the league at large.
Well,
so unsurprisingly, Graham's got a lot of players in the points section.
Yeah. I'm quite pleased to see Shaulov in there, but it's looking like Halmer's going to take that.
Yeah, he scored 7, isn't he? He's a forward. See, Mithkel Neto and Peter Petrelli appear at the bottom on 3 and 2 respectively, but it's just not good enough. X11's though is a bit more, I think, telling in terms of how the whole
give
team.
a shout to Violante as well from the Happy Feet with the goals.
Oh yeah.
If you notice, he's
and Hollingdale and Hollingdale's got 5 as well. Yeah,
somehow Larry's got.
Larry's got 5 goals. I think they've all come in the last 3 fixtures.
I don't know when that happened, but fair play to him.
All against me, probably, no doubt. But yeah, some good shout-outs there. And assists. Shaulov at the top of assists. Must be pleased with that.
Yeah,
Sammy Lofgren making a feature.
Oh.
Remember when he was a big name? People forgotten about him. We don't need to talk about him.
Was it 1998?
No.
He's a 98, isn't he? Was it 2010?
He's a 21. He's a 21-11.
21-11. I'll lose track of these things these days.
It's fine though. I prefer that.
So there you go, for case in point. What were we saying with the X11s?
Yeah, that's a bit more telling on how, like, you got Giuliano Pastore and Loftus, 3 players who aren't notoriously or kind of recognised as your best players, but they are doing this season.
Well, they're taking the mantle now, because it's like I was saying before, Juda, Andros, Barros, their time has that's passed now. And that's the thing. I'm pleased that I've got those three carrying on. But the difference is, whilst I think Graham's next wave, like underneath that, are like 21, 22, 23, 24. Mine are sort of 19, 20, 21, and yeah, I think that's the issue. But I mean, Pinto's up there. Give a shout to was it all base?
All base, yeah, Clement all base from the Galacticos. That's pretty impressive. 7 X11s.
No, not really a name I bet most people would know.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Graham as well with
Santana, Kasparison.
Yeah,
they're all there. I mean, I'm happy that it's like Devon lost us 7 X11s. Like, kudos to your keeper. I mean, Rochelle, who's a skill more and an age less, only on 4. That just speaks wonders of what's been going on with my season. But anyway, I want to go to the ratings. Okay.
But just because you want to talk about one thing.
Yeah, Petrelli's.
It's always the way to player stats. You're like, yeah, I'll give some shout outs.
But isn't that stats also just very evident of what kind of player he is? I don't want to I don't want anyone to forget about Petrelli because not for my own good, but for the league's good. Think about what he demonstrates and models to other managers. Like, I'm not saying look at my work. I'm just saying look, he's the player. I didn't make him score all those goals. I didn't make him win me the trophies. What he did was he was integral to that, and all I did was just clicked yes. He came through my market, and I just got him up every season.
Trained him.
Yeah, I just did what, and I think because he is what he is and the skills that he has, he's worth noting that even at 30, is he 33 now?
32, I think.
32. So he's still got 3, maybe 2 good seasons in him left. He's still punching them out. And this is
21 was this season, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was this season.
I don't know. Probably. I think he won't play higher.
I don't think so either.
I think he's on the decline now.
And he lost that match. That was against Graham.
Yeah.
When we were at home.
But I tell you the one thing I like about the best match performance, I saw by ratings. You look at the names on there. There's some bad boys like. You
can pick a good X11 team just from.
I mean, you've got Pinto, Giuliano, Santana, Ajuda, Van
Volson, yeah, Pastore, Abella, Polo Abella, Rochelle. Rochelle's got to be in goal. Let's face it.
Well, you also got Kramer, who again Simon's keeper. People a lot forget about.
Yeah, people forget about Kramer.
And then
even Hans-Peter Loritz makes a little feature on 17. Like even he'd be like the sub of the X11 of this year.
But I reckon if you look at 17s, there'll be a lot of players. Those will change every time you refresh the page. I think if you look 18s, 19s, those all the players on there are very, very legit.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few. I like to point out quite a few of mine. But so you see Graham, Dream Team, and Steve's got someone in there. Is it Anstrad? Astrand.
Alan Astrand, yeah. And even Clement Obey, he made a feature of his assists. But, yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty much everything. Unless I don't know I tell you what, I have not looked at the Squires once.
I looked once because I think Miro's desperate for everyone to just keep noticing because he's having a good season and he's going to get promoted and he's excited.
Holy shit, Carl's top.
Yeah, Carl's top. He's 29 at the moment.
About fucking time.
Remember when he was like last every year?
Yeah.
And now he's top of the league. He might be a lord. That's actually quite fun.
His team's, to be fair, if I remember,
is decent.
It's not bad.
He's actually pulled his finger out a little bit.
Yeah, if he has a good change report, he'll do fine. And I think if you look at kind of what Ben's done, and the way that Ben's did it, because Ben didn't just kind of get promoted too early. I think he got promoted at the right time.
Who do you think got promoted too early? Biscuit, maybe.
Potentially. I think the other team was Phallus. I think that probably was the case.
He did, but then he did really well in his second season.
Steve had that. I think Steve had that as well. Steve got promoted, probably one season or two too soon. Got dicked in the Laws, came back and then dicked the Squires. And I couldn't even tell you about Tristan. Tristan's team its time.
I think it's the reverse.
Its time was a long time ago.
Back in 2011. Well, he's got to do something, but how do you change a mindset? But no, yeah. Also, bearing in mind, so Slaves and Troops are at the top. Biscuit and Phallus, both teams, we just mentioned they're vying for it. Why not?
Yeah, I personally think those two teams go up. I think,
Can you name the 4 other lords, ex-lords that are in the squires right now? Just the 4 other ex-lords other than Biscuit, Phallus.
Well, you got Tristan, Pussy, Windows. Windows have been, and technically Treebeards have been, haven't they?
Yeah, and the Real United. The Real didn't they at one point? Didn't they join that season before we split it?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's always been in the squad, and always will be. My name is Jeff.
I don't know if he's playing, to be fair. Oh, he was 3 days ago. Fair enough.
I think it's someone's not got VIP. I think. Oh no, everyone's got VIP. Maybe not. There's a next button.
Yeah, it
is with the Real United. He's just playing without VIP.
How have we still got the cup then?
Because he did have VIP when the season was started, so it generates the cup. You can't just abandon the cup because fixtures are drawn. Speaking of the cup, what do you think about the semi-finals?
Well,
we can talk about actually the quarters because that's when it gets a bit serious. And granted, Slaves knocked me out. I forgot my tactics, man.
He didn't forget his tactics.
No, he did not. He did very well.
I thought Simon, I know, wanted to get through. So he always had a tough task. And
chance of the double for the Milkers. Bless you. Oh, bless you. Chance of the double for the Milkers.
Yeah, I've got a goal.
Okay. Bilbo play the Slaves, others play the Dream.
You know what? I'm going to call it a Slaves Others final. Was that the final last year?
No, Slaves Dicks last year.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm just calling it Slaves Others this year.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Look at the stats for this. Interestingly, Pete and Norman are all in there.
Who's the all-time goal scorer in the cup, or the all-time active goal scorer?
Peter Petrelli.
I don't need to say his name. And then Westgren from Dream Team up there as well, 14.
Mm.
Well, if we're going to talk about Petrelli, might as well look at X11s. That's what matters.
Yeah, obviously he's got 30.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he loves the cup.
I thought as usual was going to get a little shout out there, then fucking Petrelli's down in
just
the
I've also got Moody. See, I get a lot more features in the cup because my team like the cup. Maybe that's it. I just got to be a lord for a couple more seasons. Hope not to be a squad and just focus on the cup.
Well, that'd be good if the cup meant anything. I don't give a shit about the cup, but
well, I think Graham does this season because if he does the double,
yeah, but
a return to the double.
I
It's not been done in a while.
If you said to Graham, would you rather win the cup or win the league? He said, well,
obviously the league, yeah. Okay, yeah, but on that note, I feel like we've stressed anything. Is it unless there's anything else you want to bring up?
Nah, I said my season's so mediocre. I've got nothing really to say. Just felt like we needed to do one of these because. The league, we owe it to the league, what I mean?
Just for the season's sake. Because last season was a little bit dry. People weren't, I think people were more focused on the WhatsApp group, which is fair, because the presses weren't up. I don't think they were up to scratch. There wasn't a meal. There wasn't really a football game. Like that's all going to change, my friend. We're back to fucking, we're doing it.
You're going to change that, are you?
Well, of course I am. We're all over this, aren't we?
You want your name on that press?
Well, no, I just want it to happen. I don't care who does it, but I'll do it if other people are up for it. So I'll lead the fucking riot. Why not?
Well, let this be the start.
Yeah. Obviously, I hope you enjoyed, and maybe we might be able to get another one out soon. Depends on the next 3 or 4 games, I guess. But yeah, nice one.
Cool.
Tpol doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a vegetarian.